Hi. All right. So we've talked about slope in terms of graphs and looking at rise over run. We've talked about slope in terms of tables and looking how the y values change in comparison to the x values. Now, all of that is fine and dandy, but all of that is really time intensive, like looking at graphs and actually looking at rise over run, and that sort of thing, and looking at that consistency is a lot. And sometimes you're not given a graph. They don't say, like, hey, graph this and then find the slope. It just says, here's 2 points. What's the slope? That's what we're going to be looking at today. So slope, rise over run. This is great for graphs. Looking at vertical change versus horizontal change. Again, great for graphs, also great for tables. Looking at this, y sub 2 over y sub 1 over x sub 2 over x sub 1. You're like, what the heck is that? I know, it's so great. All right, that is what's called the slope formula. The slope formula is a way for us to not have to create a graph, not have to look at a table. Instead, we can just look at how the y values change of 2 points and compare those to how x values change in those same 2 points. So here is our practice problem. Find the slope given the points 6, negative 3, and 1, 2. So looking at this, we are going to use that slope formula. So I'm going to be super specific here and show slope in terms of m this time. We'll talk about that in another few lessons, what m truly means and like why it's called m. But m compared to, or is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. There's a lot of like extra numbers in there that we're not really used to. All right, so what this means, this sub 2 means that we're looking at the x and y value of the second point. This sub 1 means I'm looking at the x and y value of the first point. Does it matter at all which point you decide to make, the first or the second point? No, it doesn't matter at all. What I would suggest is make it easy for yourself and say the first point that you see is your first point and the second point that you see is your second point. Just have it be that easy, okay? So I'm going to say this is my whoops, I actually started doing that wrong. This is my first point. This one right here is my second point. And I'm going to try to color code this as best as I possibly can without getting myself too mixed up, okay? All right, so we're going to find the slope given points 6, negative 3, and 1, 2, and we're saying this is my first point and the 1, 2 is my second point. And we're going to put those into this equation, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. The things that truly matter in this is not that the first point is the first point and the second point is the second point. It's that you are paying attention to just putting the values into the correct places and that there is a subtraction sign built into your equation. That means if you have also some negative numbers in your actual points, you're going to have to be careful about those, okay? That's super duper important because if you're not careful with the minus and negative or dealing with those negatives and dealing with the subtraction, you will likely make a mistake, okay? So let's do this. I'm going to add my base format for this. So I have my fraction bar, I have the subtraction signs already built in, and now I'm just going to plug in some points. I need the y value of my second point. Y value of my second point is a 2, so I'm going to put that here. 2 minus my y value of my first point, which is a negative 3. Negative 3. Now check that out. I have a subtraction sign and the negative 3. Both of them are in there because they both matter. Now the 1 is going to go in here for the first part of this, and the 6 will go in the second part. That is my x value of the first point. And now I can solve this. Now I can do some work. 2 minus a negative 3, I can simplify the minus and negative and say that's like addition. Addition, I said that really weird. 2 plus 3 equals 5. 6 minus, or 1 minus 6 equals negative 5. So 5 divided by a negative 5, I can simplify that to saying negative 1. So the slope for these 2 points is equal to negative 1. So the slope, I'll do this, slope is equal to negative 1. Kind of cool. If I wanted to, I could actually graph these, and I would see a graph where I have 1, 2, and 6, -3, and I like see that it's a nice negative slope. But that is how we can use the slope formula. So watch this on repeat if you need to, but have at the must-do problems for this lesson. And thanks for watching. Bye.